And welcome, everyone. We are back with another episode of Here on the West as we are transmitting to you from the year 3000. We thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. My name is Scott, aka Mr. Shogi 3000, and this game is Here on the Waste, where we play Horizons Unknown After Earth RPG, a game that has been written and created by myself. We have our wonderful cast here as well. Shane, if you could you tilt your camera up a little bit? Because I only see your bottom of your chin. There you go. Perfect. Thank you so much, good sir. We are back with our wonderful cast here this evening, where we have Ryan, aka Ran118. How are you this evening, good sir?
I am great. Ready to buy some stuff and upgrade my gear.
Nice. Like to hear it. Of course, we go. I like that sound. Of course, we got my good friend here, Mike, playing Voldo. How are you doing this evening, good sir?
Oh, doing great. You know, I just want to, buy some stuff at this time.
Buy some stuff. Perfect. I like to hear that.
I'm not expecting to die, but I mean, who knows?
Fair enough. Again, obviously, another very good friend of mine here. We got Richard playing Gideon Goldenhammer. Oh, somebody just living the ching life, dude. Nice. How you doing this evening, Richard?
I'm doing good. Happy Friday, everyone.
Hey, thank you so much. And of course, as you always know, ending this, my brother from another mother, aka Mr. Shane, playing the good doctor. How are you? Good evening, sir.
I am well. How are all you doing this fine Friday?
Great.
You know, I wasn't thinking about buying a bunch of stuff. I'm starting to feel a little left out. Is that the plan or what?
There you go.
I mean, I'm not incredibly rich. If my math is correct, I got
Yeah.
I got a decent amount here, I guess. I don't know.
That'll work.
I just remember thinking about what are they, rockworms or something like that?
Oh, I think so.
Is that what we're upgrading for? Is to face the rockworms?
Maybe. If you forgot, that even makes it even better. The ching ching is coming from Richard. Is that who it is?
There we go.
Yeah.
Is that for you? Okay. I thought that somebody had it on an app or something. I'm just like, keep hitting that ching ching.
I was thinking about asking Alistair if he if he was a salt miner, and maybe we can try and dissolve these worms. But something tells me their hides are a little too strong, and they're not maybe related to snails.
If you want to know about salt, you can always ask Ryan. Ryan knows all about the salt. He is the salt master.
My stream is called the Salt Mines.
Well, again, we want to thank everyone who's going to hang out with us this evening. We have another session here. Again, this is a game that is set in the distant future of 2422 on an alien planet known as Saldaria, where the last remnants of humanity is now colonized and is living on this alien planet. So with that, we're just going to jump right in with tonight's episode, where it is called Session 41, Between a Rock Worm and a Hard Place.
Nice.
Very
punny.
As we remember last week, you did meet with Alistair, had a few drinks. You found out that Jaina has awoken, and she has a bit of an admirer in Sinjin. You met with Alistair and found some interesting information. Found out that he used to be a seer, or essentially an oracle once for Fenrir Hold. And he tells you that he's able to provide transportation over to Cindervale if you could kind of help them with a small little issue with rockworms that seem to be plaguing the surrounding land. For the most part, you guys have agreed. Voldo, so happy to have gotten another job, decided to try to kill Alistair and was thwarted by his own team. The good doctor saved essentially Alistair's life without not even really knowing about it. Gideon now drinks through a filter and is unable to get really drunk anymore. Compliments of a bad distillery and really, really bad liver at this point as well. And you guys were trying to set up some kind of strategic plan in order to kind of handle these rockworms that are kind of creating a little bit of a mess in regard to creating like earthquakes, as well as jutting up out of the ground every now and then, and just creating havoc and issues. During this time, you did give some of your weapons. Rev gave his brand new weapon, Callisto's Edge, as well as the Mad Batter Stun Baton to Danny, who was a master worker, a high-level crafter of weapons, a very rare and amazing gift that she has kind of learned and has been passed down to her. Very kind of almost ancient ways. It's kind of like rites of passage in order for someone to have learned the craft as much as she has. She was a female Saldaran, as well as Voldo gave his scythe that he calls sword over to her, as well as a starfire crystal, to see if there's some way that, yeah, of course, yeah, some way that she could possibly infuse that into his weapon, to see if there's any kind of upgrades or any possibilities of just making them stronger as they try to prepare themselves to go up against said rockworms. None of you have actually dealt with rockworms before. Alistair does tell you that they're right around 25 feet long. And that's pretty large. For you, when you were underneath the underwater tunnels and that Magron was floating over top of you, that's about the same size, about 25 feet. When we last left our group, Rev was taking Jaina around to see if she can get her outfitted, because she definitely believes that she is going to be part of this group and help out in any way she can, almost to kind of pull her weight. And Voldo went to Danny's store to kind of check up and see where she was at with the constructions. Now, of course, he only gave her the stuff 10 minutes ago. And in 10 minutes, I'm to assume nothing much could have gotten done, but he does show back up, and then, not meaning to, kind of tosses a few innuendos that kind of get misinterpreted by her. With that, Voldo, you're inside Danny's very, very small kind of craft house, okay? She's sitting there and she was working on something. You're not exactly sure what she was kind of putting together. You do kind of see, though, that your scythe is kind of sitting off to the side. And you do see, as you kind of walk in, the very two large harpoons that you guys were going to use to see if you could possibly pin down this rockworm so it doesn't move around too much. Hey, thank you, Michael, for that's very nice of you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
To see if you can kind of pin it down in order for you to put out like kind of like an onslaught attack. In order, if anything, to slow movement. As you go in there, you allude to the fact that you want to show her your sword. She's a little bit confused initially because you said scythe was your sword, and now you want to show her another sword. And when she asks, "Where's the sword?" you say, "Well, I have to pull it out." Okay. As last, she says to you, and when you see Danny is a Saldaran, so she's obviously alien, but in this world, humans are essentially the aliens, right? She is a resident of Saldaria. She is a Saldaran. So she does have braided, kind of like black hair. Again, she has the very, very large, lidless, typical alien eyes. She never blinks, and she kind of has a very kind of dark gray, silvery kind of skin to her. Of course, to you as a human, she's very extraterrestrial and very alien, but she does have feminine qualities to her. As she kind of looks down a little bit and she just goes, I would love to see your sword. What do you do?
Okay.
If you
I'm
want to
gonna
roll awareness if you could. I want to see if you kind of pick up on what she's laying down.
Oh shit, 19.
19. Okay. You get the sense that your words are being kind of misinterpreted by her a little bit. From as much as you can read her, and again, she's blushing without you seeing someone blush, because just on pure skin, you don't kind of see her like rosy cheeks or anything like that. But you kind of get the sense that she gets a little feminine, a little girlish. She's 6'3", so she's taller than you. As you kind of get that feeling, there's a counter between you and her. Obviously, it's the counter that she obviously does business with. She is in a coverall, and she starts to unzip slowly down.
Dude, I'm already in. Okay. All right. Okay.
Enough to where it's about, middle of chest high, and she leans over seductively onto.
So
Go
she
ahead.
has moved. So she has moved.
Okay, hold on. Let's
Okay.
get into that part. I wrote that
We're
part
getting to
off. She leans down over the countertop with both elbows like this to you and starts to do that. And you can see that she has an ample bust that she is tossing your way. And you can see there's a little bit of sweat almost, like she's perspiring just a tiny bit. You don't know if it's just because of the work she's been doing, and it's a little hot in this place anyway. So obviously, she has a kiln going. She has an oven going.
Has her chest flushed at all? Changed color at all?
It's hard for you to really kind of pick up on that. But you get the sense that all of a sudden, like, her attitude or personality or demeanor has kind of changed a little bit. She's softened a little bit to you. And she's just kind of looking at you. Now, I need you to roll overall a d20, because for some reason or another, you can feel like her eyes peering into you.
Okay, and that one's a 14.
Okay. You get the feeling that either she's releasing some kind of pheromone, or you're just getting lost in these big eyes, and you feel yourself slightly getting charmed enough that you want to continue to keep staring, but you kind of pull back out a little bit, and you kind of like catch yourself like, whoa, like, I'm getting a little too deep into this.
Okay, so first thing I'm gonna ask her, I'm gonna slowly, casually, like a very cool dude, like,
Sure.
Of course. I'm just gonna say, would you rather I show you in private?
She immediately says, yeah, okay. I have a room in the back.
Okay, and we don't have to worry about anybody bothering us.
As sure, like,
on my sword?
as that is okay. As you're like having this conversation, I do believe, and I can't exactly remember where you guys are all at. Gideon is with Alistair. Rev, I think you said you were going to make your way over to Danny because she goes with Sinjin?
Eventually, I think me and
Are you still with
Jaina wanted to go get armor.
Okay, so you're still with Jaina.
That was the next thing we were going to do, yeah.
Okay, then Doctor, where are you? Because I do believe you wanted to check on the harpoons.
Okay, well, first I need to know what dice are Mike required to roll to do damage with his meat sword?
D4.
I mean, okay, all right.
Hey, I'm a
Hey.
D8 at least, bro.
Hey, just remember, no whammies, no whammies. That's a good question. I don't know how urgent it is right now because
Sure.
I think I know that that a couple of weapons were already given to
Right.
her for upgrade, and I know that she already has the harpoons. I've pretty much mentioned to her that
Mhm.
I'm interested in trying them out. So I don't see myself making my way over there.
Good to know. I just want to
To
know, make sure
C
everyone.
block, if you will.
I want to
C
block.
But best believe, had I done it, I would have tried to get it. No,
No, get it.
Good to know. I just want.
You're being a true bro right now.
There you go.
Yeah,
I just want to
she
make sure
seems
everybody,
like my type.
everybody, I knew
In
where
the back of
everybody
his mind,
was.
keep this feeling.
As far as you know, she kind of gives you the sense that, you might have a moment or two
Mhm.
of a little just one-on-one time.
Yeah.
So she kind of looks at you and she just goes, we can go into the back if you like.
Okay, or is there anybody else in the store?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
And she goes, she looks at you and she just goes, do you want someone else?
Whoa, this
Whoa.
is interesting. Okay. I just look at her and I say, of course not, just you.
And she goes,
And then
immediately she just kind of like,
exactly.
no, I'm just going to tell everybody, listen, I am 100%, I am dedicated to the GM. This is weird stuff for me to be doing, okay? I don't feel comfortable with doing it, but I will go the distance.
I've already
for
got
this.
a fiction in my mind that I'm talking
Good.
to. So
Okay. I just don't want anyone who like watching this just going, wow, Scott's really knows it. He understands this
really
thing.
into this right
Just like, no, it feels
Okay.
weird to say this to another man, but I am dedicated. Let's do this.
Does she say let's do this?
No, that's just me saying this.
Okay. Okay, and then instead I say, should I just lock the front door?
And she just goes, and she kind of writes herself back up, and she zips it up, and she walks by, and she just goes, "I'll do it." And she locks it, and then she puts the little sign that says "closed."
Yeah.
She turns her back around, and then she completely undoes it again.
Oh, completely?
Like it's going a little bit farther and farther down every time.
Okay. First, first I'm going to just disrobe, okay? Because I have just the robe, because I have that giant cloak that I wear always.
Okay, you're just taking off the cloak.
Okay? Yeah, I'm like my robe, my cloak. I'm
Gotcha.
just taking that off.
Okay.
I just as soon as she unzips and as soon as it hits about like cross level,
Mm-hmm.
my cape I want to comedically just drop to the floor.
Oh, okay. Do you do it like an old 30s thing where it's like it's like tied up to the thing and you just kind of untie it and it just flops to the ground?
Shit, hold on one second. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's one that I managed to keep. I weighted it, so I just keep it on my shoulders.
Okay.
So I just shift my shoulders inward.
Kind of flops
and
off.
Then it just drops.
Okay. All right. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Piccolo. Okay. She immediately walks up to you. She grabs you. She kind of, as gently as she can, kind of grabs your hand, and her grip is strong.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so you kind of wince a little bit, and you're just like, and
I'm
she,
surprised.
okay, no, yeah, exactly. You're surprised inside you wince though.
Exactly.
You're just kind of like. She starts to lead you into the back.
Are there any windows on the front
She
door?
picks you up like a baby. She scoops you up. Just walks in the back.
Are there any windows on the front of this store? Are there any
Only
windows
on the front. Only on the front. There's not on the sides.
Okay.
Yeah, just
well.
because essentially her her shop is like in between other shops. So
Okay, so she's still leading me then as she
Yes.
grab my hand.
Do you follow?
All right, so I'm just gonna. Yes, yeah, of course. I'm
Okay.
gonna follow her. Yeah.
she
Yeah.
takes you
And
into
wait,
uh-huh.
as I'm following her, because I'm covered in like leather straps.
Of
as
course.
well. So I just like pop one of my straps off and leave it on the ground. And it's not like it's showing anything yet, but it's like now my chest is exposed.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. She doesn't notice this, as she just kind of like leads you to the back. As she turns around, she sees that your chest is exposed. And with that, she pulls you close. And you can just feel like her heat coming off of her. And she just goes, I'll allow you to take off the rest.
All right. Are we in her room now? Or
You're
wherever?
in a back room.
Okay. Perfect.
Essentially all that's back there is just like a cot. You figure this, you get a sense that this isn't like where she essentially lives, but it might be like where she might have to take a nap if she's doing long nights, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna say to her, you first.
And she takes your hands like this. It's like take off. You take off. She wants you to disrobe her.
Okay, so I walk up to her. All right. As I do, I put my hands slowly around her hip. Okay.
Oh.
As I reach behind to grab the zipper, because I'm assuming I gotta unzip it from the back.
Sure, I mean,
And
yeah.
obviously roll my hands over her buttocks, obviously fondling them, kind of.
Okay, all right.
Like, like confirming that it's going to happen.
Ooh,
And as I reach up to grab the zipper,
she's confirmed.
she's all right, she's confirmed. All right. So yeah, I unzip that, immediately zip that down.
Okay.
Okay. So does it just come off her immediately?
You kind of have to peel it off a little bit. You have to peel it off a little bit. It's pretty tight on her.
Okay.
She's a big, well-built woman.
Okay.
She fills it out a little bit,
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say you can start working on mine if you want, and I'm just gonna keep like unpeeling everything off of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, jokes.
This is going down.
I'll remember these days.
This is going down, boys. She's not the most dexterous individual. She kind of fumbles around to figure out exactly where some of the straps begin and where they end. She has no problems starting to find straps on your bare chest. So like you don't have straps there, they're exposed, but she's like everything is touchy kind of, but it starts to get more and more gentle, at least, again, starting to soften up a little bit.
Okay.
She looks at you and she just goes, I don't have a lot of experience in this, so maybe you should lead.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm obviously. Oh yeah, I'm done unpeeling everything by now, right?
Sure. She's pretty much butt naked.
Yeah, naked enough. Okay, so I'm gonna stand back up to her, and I'm gonna grab her hand and put my hand on her chest.
Oh, okay.
And say, right. Okay, and I'm gonna say, don't worry, I'll be very gentle.
Excellent. As that happens, Rev, you're with Jaina.
Yes.
And she's asking, can you at least... Freaking Mike. He's asking, can you at least find her some gloves and some boots, if possible? You do notice that she feels a little bit insecure about like the cybernetic hands and the legs. And she's just trying to find things that obviously keep it covered up if she can. If anything, to feel more the human part of her.
Okay. Well, I would like to go to the closest armor store, which I think was close by where the weapons were, right?
Yeah, it was just right next door.
Okay. I would like to go into the armor store, and I want to just start. She's asking for just like gloves and boots.
Yeah, just some basic gloves and some basic boots to cover essentially some exposed cybernetics.
Rev wants to actually start looking at decking her out with like actual like ballistic vest, leg pads, armor. Like he wants to deck her out because he's trying to keep her from getting hurt.
Sure.
Kind of thing.
For Brimlow, they don't have like the heavy duty stuff.
Okay.
So you're talking, if anything, light armor
That's
stuff.
what I was thinking. Because she's got a gun and I feel like she's probably going to be at range, I figured like some sort of just light armor might be something that we could equip her with.
Yeah, you can
that
absolutely
possible?
do that. Absolutely. You just tell me what you want her to be equipped with.
Okay.
As of right now, she has absolutely nothing, just the clothes on her back.
Right. As I'm looking through the different armor pieces, I'm curious if this place in the middle of nowhere would happen to have a Dynamo Solutions ballistic helmet with a HUD. Does that happen to exist in this little place?
Let's roll to find out if it does.
Find out if it does or not.
All right. Let's do some digging through all the armor.
I would like, though,
Schrodinger's box.
absolutely, you can dig through some armor and see what you kind of find. I want you just to make a D20 fate roll,
Okay.
Rev. And I want you... Yeah. I want Voldo to make a D20 as well.
All right. 17 for me.
Okay.
Okay, 13.
Okay, so 13 for you. Which one were you doing, the fate roll or just to see what you find? I'll let you decide in which order.
Whichever I was doing for, I guess that would be what I find. So that would be me looking for through.
You see that there's an old ballistic one on there that seems to be broken and shattered. So it's, if anything, you get the sense that it was probably found and taken off somebody, and it's just been sitting at the bottom of this junk pile this whole time. Maybe at some point he would have gotten around to fixing it. It just hasn't been done.
Perfect for Rev because he's like, ooh, this is something I can.
A little tinkering, of course. Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to pick that up as I also gather the light armor, but then I'll do my fate roll now.
Yeah, if you could.
17 again. Actually.
17, okay. For some reason or another, as you're kind of like digging and you find the helmet, you feel like a rush of exhilaration and ecstasy.
I'll tell you who's feeling ecstasy right now.
It's a quick jolt that it hits you, and you haven't felt this way since like you were very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that you hear the voice of a yelling Voldo.
Yeah. I didn't think I was that close to Voldo.
I didn't think I'd be the one who's louder.
Well, because I don't actually
in between the Michael.
Does Rep know what this yell signifies?
No, you have no idea, and you don't even really know if it was Voldo. It just it's like the idea if you hear something and you try and you don't know what it is, but you try to attribute it to something that you do know to make sense of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because not to do that would be just like I'm hearing voices and ghosts in my head.
Okay. Well, I will think that maybe this is as part of that. I don't know, Alistair's connection thing.
Sure.
That maybe I'm just hearing something, but I'm going to kind of shrug it off for now.
Okay.
Because I'm really excited about finding this helmet.
Gotcha.
And I also, can I tell you what pieces of armor I wanted to buy?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay.
And just make sure you deduct.
For sure. Most of these things are pretty cheap.
Okay.
I wanted to get her the light mesh ballistic vest, the Helicon Industries light mesh ballistic
All right, let me write this down. Hold on.
Which is 2 armor for 10 checks. I wanted to get her the Helicon Industries light leg pads, which is 1 armor, 5 checks. Now I see something that's called an ultralight black market mesh serape. What is that? What's a serape?
I can tell you that they currently do not have one of those.
They don't have one of those.
No.
Okay, that's a little too high tech, I guess.
A little too high tech.
And then I wanted to get her, because she wanted to cover up her feet, I wanted to get her the Dynamo Echo Trek ballistic boots.
Okay, she's happy with boots.
So that's 1 armor for 25 checks.
What does that put her armor up to?
So far, that's 4.
Okay, and that's about all she can hold.
I was gonna say I don't see any gloves. I know she wanted gloves, but I don't
You can
see
just
any.
find her. You do see just
like
some leather work gloves that she
Okay.
seems to take a little bit of an interest in.
Okay. How much would those be, just so I can put that on my thing?
After buying all those, he's so happy about it. He just goes, "I'll toss them in for free."
Toss them in. Okay. So the other question then is, Rev wants to bargain for this, Dynamo Solutions ballistic helmet that's a little worse for wear.
Sure.
He knows these things would be pretty expensive, so he wants to say, so how much for this old helmet I found here?
And he looks at you and he just goes, "Give me a price."
How if you throw in a power supply for this thing?
Fresh out of power supplies. I do apologize.
All right. From 500 checks.
He looks at you and he just goes, "Well, of course. I would."
Okay, 600.
And he looks at you and he just goes, "Okay." And he extends his hand and shakes it.
You have a deal, sir.
Goes, "Well, thank you. Appreciate it."
And Rev is so excited about this. He turns to Jane and said, "I'm gonna." First, he hands over all the other armor pieces.
Sure.
He's like, "These are for you. This helmet, I'm gonna work on this. This thing is gonna be. You're gonna have infrared. You're gonna get GPS. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna trick this out for you."
She merely looks at you and she's happy about the other stuff, and she looks at that and she just goes, "That's gonna mess up my hair."
What?
Just
Jaina,
the worst.
just wait till you put this on and see the world through new eyes. I know you'll change your mind.
St. John just goes, "She said it was going to mess up her hair, and her hair looks quite wonderful." She looks at St. John and she goes, "Thanks."
Rev just looks at Sinjin's like, and he's so happy with this little helmet. He's already trying to tinker with it and play
Sure.
with it and stuff.
As you kind
I'm
of
done.
you do that, Doc, what are you doing? Last we left you were just kind of sitting there at the table with Alistair and Gideon.
Yeah, just shooting the bull.
Okay.
But I realize now that I should probably mosey on over to where Rev is and check out some of this stuff if they have it available.
Okay. Do you send Rev a message to find out where he is?
Yeah, I want to just say hit him up and see where see how he's doing on those.
Okay.
Because I know I overheard him saying he needed to
You
help
did.
out with Jaina.
Um,
So yeah, I'll. Where you at, dude?
so as you're
what do they got?
as Rev is kind of just going back and forth with Jaina just going, "Oh, it's gonna be so awesome when I do this." And he's kind of looking, he's checking over. You get a little ding on your thing, and you take a look at it, and you're just like, "What do you want to do?" You're really into this thing, and it's the Doc. But he does say, "Where are you? Did you get any good stuff?"
Okay. Well, very quickly I'll say, "Hey, Doc, I can't talk long. I just found a great deal. I've got a new helmet to play with. You should check out this armor store down in the town center. It's great. But I gotta go."
Immediately hangs up.
Yes.
Doc, you just hear in kid-like enthusiasm.
Oh well, sounds good. I'll just say, hey, on my way. I kind of know at this point he's stoked on something, so
Sure.
I will do my best not to derail him from his focus.
Fair enough. Okay, so do you kind of like make your way over to wherever he was?
Yeah, I want to tell Alistair and Gideon,
Mhm.
say, hey, gentlemen, I'm going to go test the wares here. If you want to join me, fine. If not, I'll see you around. And at this point, do we know where we're posting up for? Are we posting up for another? Or we know where we've already rested one night, right? This is the following day, or is this the same day?
No, this is the same day.
Okay. At this point, do we know where we're posting up at night? I forgot.
Alistair gives you the sense that there's some places that you can definitely.
I might have an idea where I'm staying tonight.
That there's definitely some places that he can.
You know what?
Get
I'm
you
also
some
gonna ask. I'm gonna
boarding.
ask them. Hey, where does that Danny gal do her work,
Oh,
guys?
yeah. Alistair just goes, well, yeah. If you go down the main road, and she's the third door over onto the left. It actually says
Understood.
above. It just says Master Worker Danny.
Oh, thank you. Does that happen to be on the way to the supply hub?
Unfortunately,
Brother
the supply
Rev,
hub
yeah.
is the other way,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
but on the same side and on the same road. Quite convenient. I created it that way.
All right. Thank you. I might just have to stop by and see what the old girl's up to.
Oh, sounds wonderful. I'm to assume that's where she would have your harpoons if you definitely wanted to take a look at them and make sure that they were up to standard.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Okay. What about you, Gideon? What would you like to do? Looks like it's just you and me. I do have some things that I have to take care of as the mayor of this nice town. What are you going to do?
I'm going to follow these gentlemen. I'm curious to see like what kind of upgrades this Danny lady has. This master
nice.
craftsman,
Okay.
craftswoman.
Well, wonderful. You can go with the good doctor and check out Downey's as well. I'm
All
to
right,
assume that
well,
she'd be happy to see both of you. She does not get many visitors.
All right. Well, I know Gideon knows his way around here, so.
Absolutely.
What's the chick's name again, by the way?
Danny,
Danny? Yeah, okay. Never mind. Okay.
with that, he walks up to you, Gideon, kind of embraces you a little bit, and he just goes, I'll see you a little bit later.
That we shall.
Okay. And with him, he kind of like walks out, and you just get the sense that he's done this before. He just attends to the things of the town of Brimlow, whether they be political or just the everyday needs of things, and to make sure things are allocated. It's what he goes off and does. How much for the doc and for Gideon? What place did you want to go to first? Or are you guys going to at the same place? Or Gideon, are you going directly to Danny's? Doc, you going directly to Danny's? Or are you meeting up with Rev?
Oh, what do you say, Sarge? I'm gonna go scope some supplies and see if I can get a new toy or two. You want to swing by and check
some ammo?
What's that?
Actually, I need some ammo.
Oh, very
Yeah,
nice.
Supplies would be good though.
Supplies first. Supplies always first. Weapons.
All right, well
time.
let's
You gotta
go,
get
my
time.
man. You wanna hit that first, or you wanna go see visit with the old Danny girl?
I think we need to go to the supplies.
All right, fair enough. Let's
Fair
do
enough.
You know, I will say that the excitement in Rev's the excitement that Rev was getting off kind of tends to. I kind of agree with you there, Sarge. Let's go check out that place.
There we go. So how long has it been already now from like my?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Voldo. How long can you last?
Oh,
Oh no, I mean, believe me, I can last and I can go again. So I just need to know how long it's been.
It's I'll just say 5 minutes.
It's only been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, it's become the stars. It's the stars and stripes, dude.
Hot
Yeah,
teddy.
exactly. Like I started first by going down on her, and then of course I kissed my way up. I'm a gentleman.
Of course. You haven't, for the most part. I mean, it's easy to say, is just based on your trade. You don't get to connect to anyone too often.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's very few and far between. So you get the sense of anything that there's a little bit of a connection.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's you're given to the stars and stripes.
Yeah. Okay.
So based on that, I would like you to roll a d20.
A 7.
Okay. You finish.
Yeah.
And you get the sense that she is still excited, and you're kind of like so that whole like I can last and go again was a bull-faced lie.
Let me roll for going again. Actually, I need like a good like refractory period, like a good 4 or 5 minutes. I got at least 2-3 minutes.
Go ahead and roll persuasion. Let's see if she buys it or.
Okay, 17.
She is persuaded enough that she isn't kind of put off by it. She is okay with continuing to caress and snuggle until some kind of action happens. Kind of, the reaction. Causality. For every action, there is a reaction. As you have this little bit of downtime where you're trying to pull yourself back together.
First, right after it happens, I'm gonna kind of like stop. I'm gonna clean everything up, and I'm just gonna be like, sorry, we had to do it quickly. I'm not sure if somebody's coming soon or not. My buddies are in town, and they're probably gonna be here soon.
Sure. With that, she kind of goes, I understand. She goes, but one more time?
And I say, yes, but give me 1 minute. Let me actually contact some of my friends in town and just kind of let them know to stay away from the armor, if that's all right with you.
She just goes, okay.
And not by the armor, the
okay. Who do you contact first?
Everybody.
Okay,
I'm gonna mass text everybody.
Group chat, of course.
Everybody, and I'm just gonna be like, stay away from the weapons, weaponsmith, whatever. For the next 30 minutes. Okay, I'll go 20 minutes.
20 minutes, fair enough.
Yeah, not to be greedy.
Gideon, Rev, Doc, you get a message from Voldo that tells you to stay away from Danny's for about 20 minutes.
Hey, Sarge, you see this message?
Yes, I find this interesting. He, I don't know, like, who wants to ask him what happened?
Who wants to text back?
Curious indeed. I'm gonna just make a deduction here, and I'm gonna type back. So, how many minutes was the first round?
I'm just gonna message back. I don't even know.
Okay. Gideon and Rev, you're getting this. Rev,
of course, I'm like half jesting, like
sure, of course. You're just kind of messing around, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, well, that's a really odd
request.
and then I kind of go like, whoa, is this?
There was a girl there.
Yeah, and,
Yeah, it's a little bit of that old humor, that old like poking that you kind of give to him. And when he comes back with you, he just goes, "I don't remember."
yeah.
You don't exactly know what that means coming from him. Rev, for you, it's just another annoying text that has popped up when you're just really into this thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But this helmet is so cool.
I'm just gonna text back. Well, that is a good sign, my friend.
I would.
Right, I'm gonna like just say thank you and make sure everybody sees this.
Okay, Gideon, you get this information. What do you do?
Like, Drats, I needed some ammo.
It's only 20 minutes, bro.
Wait a second. She's at the same store that Rev got the supplies, because that's where I was.
No, it's a different store.
That's what I thought. Yeah, so we're going there anyway.
But I mean, she has the ability to make specialized ammo. It's something that she can do, but
okay.
This girl can do anything. Let me tell you that. Okay.
I would like, though, for Rev, I would like you to roll just an overall intelligence check, just an intellect.
Intelligence. Okay. 5.
Okay, I was okay. So
you're gonna have to talk to him like a third grader.
The moment that he says that, you think, oh, that's right. She has my stuff. Oh, who cares? This thing is this helmet's great.
I could get my weapon later. When am I going to have a chance to tinker with a helmet like this again?
With that, do you guys, now that you're going to stay away from Danny's for 20 minutes, do you just make your way over to where Rev is?
Yeah.
So there's Rosie, that is essentially the person that can get you weapons, and then there's the person next door, which his name is Jonas, who essentially is with Rev, is the kind of like your armor smith, but he's more just like, just whatever he has found. But Rev is able to find a few gems, if anything.
Yeah, and I pointed them to it. Do I see them as they're like walking to the supply store? Since I'm right there, I would see them, right?
No, you're just like, you have this thing.
I'm so enthralled with it, but I kind of want to, like, I know I should probably get other supplies, but I can't pull myself away from this
Sure,
thing.
Of course.
I'd like to yell to Doc, can you give me some jolting juice? I really need some, but I just can't. I got to work on this thing.
Okay, so Doc, you see Rev, and he's kind of like, he's by the stand, and he kind of calls back to you. And you again, for a grown man, a grown cyborg, he is just like, he's tossing up this helmet and just going, oh my gosh, and he keeps showing it to Jaina, and Jaina just does not seem as interested in it as Rev.
And Rev's got his tools out, and he's like already taking it apart and stuff.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool helmet there, Rev. Sure. Let me see. Would this guy sell the Jolton juice, or because I don't have any?
You could probably find it at any general store. Just a general stand.
Well, we're not at a general stand then.
Right. So. But he's just tossing it out if you could find him.
If you happen to stop by the
you happen to run into anything.
Some milk and some jolting juice.
If you find a Safeway or an Albertsons or anything like that, obviously, Gideon knows where there's kind of like a general supply store, and that's run by a very older lady named Cam. So if Gideon wants to like lead you there, then he can definitely do that. Or Gideon, you just make your way directly to Rosie to see about getting some ammo.
I'm just gonna get these guys together, and I'm just gonna say, guys, I have this I have an old friend named what was her name again?
Cam.
Cam. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cam that runs the general supply shop. I think we could get hooked up with some good equipment there.
Okay. So he kind of tosses that out to you. Rev, again, it goes in one ear, out the other.
Oh,
Rev's
yeah,
already
Tony.
he's already tossed out what he wants, and he's invested.
I just assume something will happen while I work on
Rev
this
at this
thing.
point is probably like even sat down on some kind of
Oh.
like just like thing.
I'm
and
like
just-
on the curb. Like I don't even realize that there's no seat there. I'm just on the curb tinkering with this thing, taking it
Okay.
apart.
So you go on a little bit farther down the street, Doc. There is a bit of a general store stand. If you wanted to see what wares that they have, and I guess it is the store that's run by an older lady named Cam.
All right, so where are we now? They don't have a lot of stuff where Rev is?
That is like an armor smith, a clothing store. So it's not the stuff that
Oh,
Rev
gotcha.
asked for. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's go down there.
Okay. Do you go with him as well, Gideon?
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of lead the doctor. And again, the old lady, Cam, is sitting there and she looks at you and she goes, Gideon, how are you?
Hi, Cam, my old friend. How's business?
She just goes, slow.
Oh,
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
Well, my name's Doc. How are you, Cam?
She extends her hand, which is completely cybernetic at this point, and she kind of shakes it, and she just goes, "I'm doing well, staying alive as best as I can."
I can't help but kind of observe her, like what kind of how she's constructed a little bit. So I make note of
she's
that.
worn. She's just worn down.
And I immediately notice all of that, and,
Yeah.
and kind of think, oh, the poor gal.
Yeah.
The poor gal, what's all broken down?
She just goes, "How can I help you, gentlemen? What is it
Well-
you're requesting?"
Well, I see you got some jolting juice there, and until I realized how expensive it is, I was going to pick some up for a friend. But, I don't know. I may just pass on that. Yeah, it
He's
must
not
be
that kind of friend. I mean, really.
must be worth it. Well, hey, I had a really cool rope at one time that I don't have anymore, along with a grappling hook and a really
Okay.
nice backpack. Couple
I-
things. I just want to see what you have. For instance,
Okay.
go ahead. Do you happen to have a heavy stake carrier? The larger backpack with the higher capacity.
She goes, "The things you're speaking of, you probably should ask Jonas.
Interesting. All right.
I have more of knick-knackish stuff."
Oh, I see. Well, thank you. So you're not more of a, you don't have very many survival type things.
Not necessarily. I have more of like food items and some medications and medical kits and things, and I do have the gelatin juice. I might be able to make you a deal if you're interested. If your friend is a good friend, maybe you'd make that deal. I used to have a good friend. She died because I did not buy her jolting juice.
Oh, that's
Regretted it every day of my life. Don't make the same mistake as me.
well.
She is one hardcore salesperson right there.
Where you poor dear. I'm sure jolting juice has been the center of many a tragedy.
It has.
Well, what do I get
Especially
for?
to my friend Matilda.
Well, just out of curiosity, if I were to purchase some, I mean, how many?
For Matilda?
Sure, for Matilda. Absolutely.
She was only 24.
Ouch. Sorry to hear that.
That's what you
Yeah.
say. Ouch.
That's
So delicate, so delicate.
yeah. No, that's horrible. That's horrible. Well, I see
Gideon,
the price.
this spiel is like the spiel she gives almost to everyone. So it's nothing what you're hearing is what she spilled to you at some point. So it's like, there's a little bit, you can tell him that that's the pitch, or you can let it ride out because it's kind of funny.
I whisper to the doc and I go, "This is like a classic sales pitch."
Well, I just have to say,
But
Cam,
gotta humor the old gal. She's
well, I definitely will. I just got to ask you,
Speak up. What was that?
I don't know. You know, old Sarge, he just he wants to help wherever he can help.
No. Is he
you know,
that good friend?
No, he's not. No, but I will say, in honor of Matilda's memory, I do have a question.
Of course.
Had you got her that jolting juice,
Yes.
how much do you think it would have taken to keep her with us?
Good question. It's a question I pondered most of my life. It would probably take no more than 10.
10 whole servings.
Probably so. She was a big woman.
You know, Matilda's a big name. Very big name.
Indeed.
Okay, well, how much for 10?
Make me an offer. For Matilda's sake. She kind of reaches out to you with like a shaky hand, and she places it on top of you, on your hand, and she just goes, "For Matilda."
Yes, Matilda.
She was so young. 26 is when she died.
Well, she's aged 2 years in her death. That's pretty amazing. Well, you know, as a young woman, chances are she wasn't financially, you know, secure. I would think that for 10 servings,
Right.
she would probably have hat in hand, as I do now, and offer 350 checks.
Oh. She looks at Gideon and she just goes, "Is he a good friend to you?"
He's a very good friend.
Roll.
I've known old Sarge for
Roll persuasion, Sergeant.
Oh,
Because that's like the most bold-faced lie.
yeah, 14.
14. She buys it. Oh, it's good to have friends. And she looks at you and she just goes, 350 for how many?
Well, I mean, what's good for Matilda is good for my friend, I'm sure, and
Understood.
I just feel like 10 is the right number.
Roll persuasion.
17.
She just goes, "It's too much. Even for Matilda. I'll give you 7.
Oh, man. You know, one thing I've learned in my many years is that any time to truly commemorate a dear friend and to keep that memory solid,
The dearest of friends."
the dearest. You know, I kind of want to know what Matilda looks like. Do you have any photos of her by any chance?
She goes, "Of course I do." And then
I
she
mean,
goes, "In my heart. And in my mind."
And I'm thinking, well, wow, as a somewhat cybernetic person, they might actually be inside her heart.
You only really say it's like cybernetic hand. Most of her are still like relatively human.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Well, no attacks and kills her until pulls her heart out.
Well, Cam, I gotta tell you this. You don't have to have a picture for me to fully understand just how beautiful Matilda is. I don't even want to refer to her in the past tense, to be honest, because I feel like
Absolutely.
she's still here with us. I mean, I feel like she's everywhere, even now. And I just feel like
such a sweet thing for you to say about Matilda. She was all of 29 when she died.
very young girl, but full
youngest.
of life and
Absolutely.
full of energy. And honestly,
Right up to when she died, she had all the energy, and then when she died, no energy.
no energy because she didn't have the 10 servings of jolting juice that a woman of her stature.
This is what I've been telling you. At
And
last
I just want
we
you to know.
understand each other.
We do, and you know what? This is the thing, Cam. I don't know if I would be as strong as you and be able to go on if I got my dear friend anything less than the 10 we really wish we could have given to Matilda. You know, it's hard to even think about now.
With that,
I don't want to live in a world.
roll persuasion one more time.
Bitch.
What is it?
4.
She just goes, I will make you a deal. Because you have a good friend here, and she points to Gideon.
All the best.
Roll persuasion on that. Roll deception. Roll deception on that now.
There you go.
You suck. I
That's
meant
what
it.
you roll.
I meant it. Why would I say it if I didn't mean it? Cam. I'm about to get heavy with this one. I'm about to pull a hold up. I'm just kidding. Oh my god, it was on 20 and it rolled over to 8. It literally tipped to 8 from 20.
She looks at you and she just goes, and she kind of like winks to you, like, I will give you the 10 for 500. I think that's a fair deal for your friend and for mine.
And Gideon whispers to Doc, got a problem. I've only got 17 checks.
Say what?
Something else.
He said he's got 17 checks.
You tell me you only have 17?
Yep.
Well,
He's the guy who wanted ammo.
I know. How are you gonna buy ammo with 17 checks?
It's like
I got 50 cents, man. I don't know what you want.
Well, I'm fully prepared to ask Rev to throw some checks my way to break him off with some of these. So
Sure,
I'm trying to make a deal for both.
Rev will probably do it since he's asked you to pick it up anyway. So.
Did we lose Mike here?
Oh, he just probably froze. Hopefully he'll be back. I think he froze last week too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, Cam, you know, I feel like all this talk. I feel like all this talk about Matilda. I honestly kind of feel like I know her, and you know, I could see her in my mind, and I feel like I have a number that I can't stop. That just keeps. Have you ever heard of a baker's dozen?
And she just goes, of course.
Well, when I think of Matilda, for some reason I think of a baker's dozen of just about anything she would like to have. I tell you what, since you're driving such a fair bargain, what do you say a baker's dozen, the jolting juice, for $600 checks? Sorry.
So essentially, you're offering 200 checks per. No, actually, you're doing less than that.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh yeah,
Baker's dozen is what, 13, right?
It is 13.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I'm trying to capitalize on possibly a deteriorating mind, but I already know she's somewhat with it, but she might be selective. I really don't know at this point. I'm trying to get away.
She absolutely kind of looks at you. She bends down to get a crate of the Jolton juice. She picks it up and she puts it on the table and she slams it down and she just goes, 1,000 checks, no more, no less. She goes, stop being stingy.
Cam, I'm shocked. For a baker's dozen?
You're being an asshole right now to Matilda. Straight asshole.
Oh, I don't see how. I really don't.
And she looks over to Gimchi and goes, he's not much of a friend to you either. Mr. 17 checks.
I tell you what, Matilda. Like, this is all I have. I contribute all this full 17 checks. I'll put it into the pot with for the jolting juice for Matilda.
She takes your checks. I mean, are you actually giving her like a check card or something? What are you doing?
I want to interrupt. Old Sarge, and I wanted to say, Sarge, listen, that's a very stand-up thing to do. But Cam, I am sorry. I am so sorry. You're right. I am an asshole. I'm being an asshole to you, and I'm truly sorry, Cam. I can't imagine what you've gone through since the loss of Matilda. And to be quite honest, I really do feel like 500 for 10 is fair. If you're willing to give me that deal, I'll take it.
With that, she takes the 17 checks from Gideon, and she just goes, transfer it over, take the crate, and leave. Don't come back, you cheap bastard.
Is that in addition to my 500?
Yeah. Transfer it now.
Oh, I thought you were just talking to him. Sorry.
She pulls up her cane and she starts to poke you. Transfer now.
Okay, here. Can you throw one in? Can you throw an extra one in? Here we go.
As you say that, she takes 3 out and she slams it off to the side.
No. Here it is. No, I do that before she does that. Thank you, Cam. I'm so sorry. My friend appreciates this.
She goes, I don't care about your friend. Get out of here, asshole.
Well, I care about yours.
Out. Go. Be gone.
And Cam, I'll see you tomorrow, sweetheart.
Sewer rat.
Your daughter never died.
Doc is the worst negotiator. He gets kicked out of stores.
As you're grabbing the stuff and you're walking away, you can hear it just going, he is a swindler. That gentleman, he's cheap and a liar. Be afraid and wary of this man.
Seller beware, seller beware.
I don't know. I think she got the wrong idea with my baker's dozen thing. I don't know. I was just trying to get 3 extra jolting juice.
You do have a crate of 10.
Yes. That's a
Jolton
lot.
juice. It's a lot of Jolton juice.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It doesn't say how many I get for the 500 on the list.
1.
Oh shit! For 500?
Yes, you
Yes,
get 1.
that's
Oh my
why
God,
she's
I didn't
on
know
the
that.
sheet because you just got 10 for the price of 1.
You got the
Uh,
10
you
for the
know,
price of 1.
Wow.
Like I said, it doesn't say a quantity unless it just implies. But whoa, shit. Okay, I had
Yeah.
no clue then.
Yeah. It's only
Hey.
1. As
Hey,
you're happy about your haul, but I want
I
you to
am
roll awareness if you could, Doc.
Yeah.
well, I am gonna bring her flowers and try and make it up to her. Well, unless
Sure.
I don't need anything else. at her
Don't
store.
even step foot in that store, man. You gotta wait to steal, bro.
All right.
ahead.
Well,
Roll awareness if you could.
If I need to send any of you for me, I'm going to 13.
13. As you're kind of happy with your purchase, Gideon kind of like taps you, and he kind of gives you like the look around, and you're getting this stink eye from everybody, like quick, like instantaneously. Everyone is now looking at you, just going,
What's wrong with that guy?
and you hear him just kind of like, asshole,
Cheap asshole.
cheap asshole. And you kind of walk in,
I'm just
you
kind of
make
like
your way.
looking around. I'm just looking around, and I'm like, there wasn't even a price on the damn things. I don't know. I didn't mean to make fun of Matilda. I wasn't trying to
Most
make fun of
criminals make excuses. It's
As you get over to Rev, who's now like standing there waiting, Rev, you've already heard the news about the dog.
We've already heard the news.
That's like
In the middle
what
of like
did you
love
do to
making, she
Cam?
kind of just goes, "Your friend's a cheapskate."
I know.
No, I'm just stuck in the old world. That's all. I mean, when I was a lad, Jolting Juice ran nickel a piece.
Just a nickel a piece. That's right.
So you show up to Rev, who's like standing there, and Rev, you've heard the news.
Okay.
As the good doctor walks over with a crate of Jolton juice.
Okay. I'm like, Doc, what happened? How the hell did you get 10? Did you steal those? I was gonna ask
Oh
if you
shit!
stole
If you ask everyone in town, yeah, I guess I did. I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, but you must understand.
$5 worth of jolting juice, bro.
I mean, you got to understand. It's all for Matilda, really. That's at the end of the day. I can't explain.
You tell that to Rev. Rev has no idea who
Yeah,
Matilda
I have no
is.
idea. Matilda. Like, I look at this 10 jolting juice. I'm like, how much money did you spend? That's like 5,000, or that is so much money worth of jolting juice.
Well, it turns out I didn't know as much about jolting juice as I thought I did, and I basically swindled an old lady out of 10 bottles for 500 checks. So
Hey, we're at the acceptance phase. Okay. Okay.
That's like,
Exactly.
I can't. Well, and he takes 2 out of the thing and puts in his pack. It's like, a deal's a deal. That's pretty good negotiation, sir.
a deal's a deal. Yes. I
Unfortunately,
can't-
Gideon is looking at you, completely dejected the fact that his 17 checks are completely gone, and he still needs ammo. As this kind of like happens, Voldo, you completed lap 2.
All right. Okay.
With that, she seems satisfied and kind of gets up, puts on her clothes, and she leaves the room.
Oh, all right. Okay.
She
She's
instantly
one of
gets a
those.
little bit cold, and she goes back, and you can kind of hear ching, ching. She goes back to whatever she was working with.
All right. Okay. Ooh.
You're just kind of like laying there like spread eagle. You're pretty much exhausted.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so I'm obviously gonna suit up, start strapping everything on.
I need you to roll well-being. Let's see if you don't have a case of like, weak legs.
6.
Oh, you have a case of weak legs.
I
So
got these-
you try to get up and you just
Throw one
collapse.
That
And you literally just collapse and you think to yourself,
woman's got thighs of steel.
man, I could use a gelatin juice right now. And then from the other room you hear, your friend's a cheap bastard.
Wait, now Danny's saying that now?
It's already gotten around.
I heard it through the grapevine.
Hey, she'll be thanking me when we take out a couple of these rockworms, or maybe one of them.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of like, at this point, Boulder, you're merely just sitting there, just trying to get like blood flow and in control. You weren't aware that you've been so depleted. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. But you kind of need to sit there for a little bit. But you can kind of hear that she's gone back to whatever she was working on, and she's just kind of humming, just kind of some kind of random tune that allows her to kind of refocus back.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, so shit. I mean, I'm just gonna be trying to get dressed. At least get my leathers on.
Sure.
You know, at least the bottom. Actually, shit. The only parts I have in this room are my bottom half of my leathers.
the other ones are outside.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna start walking like towards the door, like
Sure.
trying to
You're
get
just kind of
over
like
towards.
you kind of like doing.
I'm gummy legs. I'm gonna crawl, open the door like that, you know. And then as I crawl past my my leathers from my top, I'm gonna slip those on, and then I'm just gonna grab my cloak and drag it with me.
Okay.
And then and then once I get to the point where she's kind of at, then I'm gonna try to stand up.
Sure. Okay. Gideon, what do you want to do right now? You have no money. That was taken by Cam.
Rev heard about Doc taking his last 17 checks to pay for Jolting
Yes,
juice.
you.
I tried not to. I told him not
That's
to.
what he's heard through the grapevine, that
No.
Doc even took
That's
his
exact.
last-
Absolutely.
Cam
Rev, you know.
took his 17 checks, and he shouldn't have offered it in the first place.
In
fact, I'm going to give him the 17 back.
in mere seconds, you've heard the complete details of everything. You know how much money was transacted. You know how long it took.
You know nothing.
Rev's still like, man, Doc got a good deal, but how low can you go, man?
Yeah, you feel even you feel dirty.
So
I plead ignorance.
I look at the SARS there, and I'm like, I heard you need ammo, and I just give him 100 checks. I just transfer over 100 checks. It's like, you're a good man to give that over. Here's 100 checks to get you some ammo.
And Sarge, by all means, I'll give you the 17 you had before.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen.
No, you're quite happy.
I was worried there that I would have descended into poverty.
Rev looked at the Doc and shakes his head. Too late. It's too late. We've passed that point.
I mean, in all fairness, I haven't bought jolting juice in since my first century.
Yeah, I was hoping to 1 or 2. You bought 10. Well,
Yep.
we're decked
So
out for a
you
while,
have
that's for sure.
you have 8 still. Rev took 2. Gideon, did you want to? You obviously know you can go over to Rosie to buy some ammo. Would you like to do so?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any specific rounds that you're looking at, or are we just looking at your just typical AP rounds? If you want, I do think Rev has that list up, or someone has it up.
I do. I have the list of ammo up. There's AP rounds. There's toxic. There's dirty. Wait, what kind of weapon do you have? Is it
I have
50
the
millimeter?
it was the Helicon cannon, the Era AP Buster.
So that would be the Helicon 50 millimeter rounds, I guess.
Yes.
For those.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's incendiary rounds. There's Guardian. There's Ripper rounds, which ignores AR and has bleed, and 50 millimeter Devil rounds that have corrosive. That's what I see for those.
Yeah. So there's your options.
Corrosive, incendiary, or bleed, basically.
I should get some incendiary, I think.
Okay, I forgot. Like, where can I get some of this other stuff though? Is it the same place where the
It's
ammo is?
right
or-
in front in the shop, right in front of where Rev's standing, which is Jonas's shop.
Oh,
Which
that's
essentially just
Jonas's
like
armor.
yeah,
There's weapons right next
but
door.
he's kind of
This
just
is where
like
the
a general store a little bit where you can get like pack and stuff, and next
that's
door is
where,
weapons.
That's where Sarge is getting his ammo.
Sarge is getting it from Rosie, who's the weaponsmith.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go over to Jonas.
Okay,
All right, incendiary rounds are 10 for 10 checks, is what that is.
10 for 10 checks.
Oh, okay.
That's the going rate because of you, Gideon, and they do know you, and the fact that they heard that
You got it.
that you got swindled by the swindler of Brimlow, aka the Doctor, that he literally stole your last 17 checks to help pay for his debauchery. That they'll go half for you. So 10 for 5.
10 for 5 or 20
Oh,
for 10.
okay, so 10 for 5.
Yep, or 20 for 10. What would you like to do?
Okay, I think I'm going to get.
I would say, in all honesty, because you can change into the Mars project, whatever it's called, that you already get burn. Adding bullets that do burn don't do you any good. You can't double burn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably the Ripper rounds would
The
be
Ripper
best.
rounds that
They
do
ignore
bleed.
one armor. They ignore an armor and they do bleed.
Okay,
Those
yeah,
are
I think I'll
normally
get the
10 for
Rippers then.
15 is what those are.
Okay. How much do you want? How many do you need?
I'm thinking I might go. Let's see, I got 17 for 5. I might get a 25 checks worth, so that would be 5 you said they were at 10 rounds and
10 rounds
no,
for 15 normally. So if you're doing half, then you would get 20 rounds for 15 checks, basically.
oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'll get a 20 rounds then.
Okay. You want to just get 40 and call it 20 checks as a deal?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You have 40 Ripper rounds.
Okay.
Nice. Be very useful against rockworms.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Okay, for the doc, you go in and Jonas is in there, and he's just got a smattering of just about everything. You can definitely ask him if there's anything that you're looking for. Rev gives his thumbs up of approval as a place to get really cool things.
Oh, so many great gadgets you can get here. Just look at this helmet.
At this,
It's the best.
as you're doing that, Voldo, you start to get your legs out from underneath you. Where are you at inside that room? You do notice as you kind of like have made your way out and dragging yourself a little bit, and you stumble and you're starting to get your legs underneath you, that her door is now open again, and she's open for business. She kind of looks at you, and she's completely zipped back up, and she just looks at you and she just goes, "There's something to drink if you like. I need to finish these orders."
Okay. So I'm just gonna ask her, would you mind telling me what happened?
And she just goes, "You know what happened." Ching!
Cha-ching!
How would I know what happened?
2 times. I rocked your Soldaria.
Okay, so that's just how you do it? That's just how you do it here? You seduce guys, take them into the back room, and then you're done with them?
And she just goes,
He's getting all clingy.
he's getting the clingy.
He's all clingy.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I just, usually, where I'm from, we'll maybe talk afterwards.
She just goes,
That's the polite thing to do where I'm from.
she starts to bang away and she just goes, "What would you like to talk about?"
Who are you mad at?
Ching!
Who are you mad at?
Ching! Ching!
That's your answer?
Ching. I'm sorry. Did you say something?
Yeah, who are you mad at?
Ching.
I'm gonna grab her hammer and then ask her, who are you mad at?
Jeez. Do I look mad?
Yes, you seem very mad.
I have orders that need to be taken care of.
Okay, well, did you want me to help you with anything?
Are you a master worker?
I have some experience.
That wasn't the question.
Well, maybe there's stuff needed that a master worker doesn't need.
Interesting.
Don't need to be master worker for.
Okay, so you asked me if there's anything that I needed while I was working on this, and yet you were the one who brought me your stuff to put together because you couldn't do it yourself.
Ooh.
Okay, so you don't have any work,
Ching.
correct? All right.
Okay, Doc, were you buying?
Wait, no, you can't just move on to me in the middle of that.
Oh, it's a lover's quarrel.
walking.
It's a lover's quarrel.
I just immediately turn around, walk away, and go grab one of the harpoons and start looking at it.
Oh, okay. The harpoons are quite large. They're probably almost the size of you.
Okay.
They're pretty well, and you do see it's exceptional craftsmanship. It's exceptional work. These are sturdy, and you figure now there's other things that are in your mind right now, and you're feeling a little hurt and a little clingy. Let's be you're a little you're kind of giving her like the cold shoulder, like if you're gonna be this way, bitch, then I'm gonna be like this way too.
That's exactly.
And you kind of look at
over her shoulder. At
you kind
her.
of looking at her like, yeah, and she's look.
And then after I check out the harpoons, then I'm just gonna walk out that store.
Okay, and she just goes, "Come back. I'll have your stuff done soon."
I know. And then I walk away.
Okay, and you walk out into the street. And
And
as
then
you
I'm gonna
walk,
hop on my little texting thing, and I'm gonna be who fucked up?
and as you do that, and you walk out into the street, a few people walk up to you, and you just go, "Did you hear? There's a swindler who just rolled into town, and he stole from a little old lady.
Oh my god! Who is he?
He's cheap. He's wearing a top hat and a coat, and most of him is like a robot."
Oh god! Oh god! Hell no!
Yeah, like.
Oh my god! Okay.
And the other girl comes up and she goes, "I heard he even slapped her around."
Oh, I know this guy. He might get a slapping around himself.
She goes, "Well, if you know him, you give him a good slap for us."
Oh, I definitely will.
They kind of
And
look
you know
at
what? After I do give you this, and you hear that I slapped him,
Yes.
would you let Danny know?
Yeah.
They both they both look and they just go, and they look at you, and then they look at Danny as they can see her through the thing, and they just go, "Oh yeah, I know."
I appreciate it, ladies.
And they wait for you to walk away, and then you immediately turn back and they bolt inside Danny's thing. She goes, "You're not gonna believe."
That's great. Okay.
With that, Doc, you're in there, and Jonas is looking at you like the whole time, just going, "What can I help you with?"
Hello, sir.
Don't hello,
name's,
sir, me. She was an old lady.
God. Oh, come on. Listen.
Like, if you want to make purchases here, I don't turn around. I don't turn away anyone, but you will pay full price.
Oh, I understand. And honestly, if I knew the full price of the jolting juice, I might have made a better deal for her, but she didn't have to sell them to me, sir.
That's not what I heard.
And
I
by
heard
the way,
you had her at gunpoint, practically.
she said your store sucks. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. Well,
That's such a dick move. She goes, "Wait a minute, she did?" She said my store sucked? Well,
No,
her,
I did
her
not say
store
that.
sucks.
Okay, so well, I have a list of things that I might want to see if you have. Do you have a heavy state carrier pack by any chance?
He just goes, unfortunately, no. As that happens, gentlemen, I want you to be aware that another earthquake happens.
Mm.
Everybody stops and doesn't move until it passes, and then once it does, they carry on with their day.
I'm going to ask Jonas. Hey, Jonas, what do you think about those rockworms?
He goes, I'm not a big fan.
Rockworm's bad.
I tell you, I would hate to live in a town where I'm constantly under the threat of being eaten by a giant worm that travels through the rock. But I'm
I understand.
working with some guys that are going to do our best to try and take out as many of those things as possible. And it
Are
would
you
really
going to
me
help
out.
as well?
I'm sorry.
Are you hoping to help as well?
Of course, of
He
course.
goes, interesting. What are you gonna do? Make him a crappy deal and hope that he moves on?
Well, yes, I was planning on bartering him to death.
I could tell you right now, it's not gonna work.
I understand. Well, I just want you to take part in the glory by being able to help me out with some of the stuff that I need.
Understood. Fine. All right. Question is, are you friends with Rev, the very nice gentleman who's
Rev?
outside?
Oh, Rev, of course. I've known Rev for
Okay.
quite a while.
Then he's the only reason that you're still in my establishment. Because Rev
here's his name, turns
is a
around,
good.
like, points at the helmet.
Yep.
He's like,
He looks
"Oh,
back at you and he
great."
just goes. He goes, "That's an excellent customer."
Yes, I
Never met him before. He is new, walks in, and shows us respect.
knowing Rev, I think I can deduce the exact respect that he showed, and he has it in spades. Yeah,
Yes.
and I can see why any retailer would love Rev. So, me on the other hand, I can imagine I have the precise opposite qualities, and perhaps I've deserved that reputation.
Understood. What is it you want?
Well, I don't necessarily want some rockworm killing stuff, but I think that some things that I have may help in the short term.
Understood.
Just a few things. Do you have any bowmasters? Do you have a Helicon bowmaster by any chance?
That would be next door. We're not the weaponsmith. We are the armor smith.
I realize that, sir, but do you
Rev,
deal with
Rev,
any?
Rev,
do you,
Rev.
Do you deal with anything?
He calls Rev back in. Rev.
Rev's like, oh, okay. Did you find any more cool helmets?
Rev. I feel like that we've had a connection between retailer and buyer.
Yeah.
Now, my job is to make sure that you're outfitted with the best stuff. Your
Right.
friend
Yeah,
here,
great.
the
inventory.
swindler, is he's just causing problems.
Doc, what's going on?
Well, I apparently
Do you
words
need help
out that I
finding
may have.
stuff? I'm great at finding stuff. I found this great helmet. Do you need help? I can help you find stuff.
Well, I was trying to find something here, but I think that I might have to go somewhere else. I just thought maybe the gentleman dealt with things a little bit behind the counter, if you will.
Oh, behind the
digress.
counter? I only let people like Rev go behind the counter.
I understand.
He's a valued customer.
Rev's like, oh, you have more helmets behind the counter?
Not, of course.
All right, Jonas, do you have an Everstay pack? You don't have the heavy state carrier. Do you have an Everstay pack that might carry half of what the heavy state carries?
He turns around and Rev, You get the sense that Doc is fighting an uphill battle with this, with everything,
Yeah.
and there's a part of you that's just kind of like, yeah, he kind of deserves it. As this happened, he's doing this, Voldo's walking down the street, just thinking,
I'm pissed.
I'm gonna slap
I'm
somebody.
Do I keep hearing other people talking about it, and like they keep getting worse and worse?
It's
Like,
Making
getting
it madder
worse
and
and
madder.
worse.
okay, good, good.
That he pulls out a pack that very much is comparable to what he's asking for. Not the heavy duty one, but the other one. And he puts it up on there. Now it's a little bit worn. It's probably something that's been traded in. And he kind of looks at you, Rev, and Jonas just goes, "What would you pay for such a excellent piece of equipment?"
Oh, Jonas, by all means, let's let the man enjoy his helmet. I mean,
Rev's
really.
all of a sudden like, oh, he wants my
I'll give you a very
expertise.
fair price.
Rev's like, it's a little worn, which is actually better than if it's new, because if it's new, it doesn't
Rev,
have that homey feeling.
Jonas, the whole time he's hearing him say that, he's just going, he's looking at you just going, this, like he knows.
Normally these heavy stick carriers go for 40. I'd give you at least 50 or 60 for it, probably.
Well, yes, but it's clearly not a heavy stake carrier. I mean, it's more of the Everest variety. Right, Jonas?
Roll negotiation.
Besides, keep in mind, I'm going to fill that pack with some additional items.
Oh, those stolen Jolton juices that you have?
Very simple. 13.
13.
By the way, Jonas, you look a little fatigued. Feeling okay?
He looks at you and he just goes, "I'm not buying it. Rev, please, continue on with your expert knowledge of this rare item and explain to your friend the benefit and the perfect retail price."
Well, this thing is really high grade, microfiber, lightweight, durable in all environments. And again, because it's slightly used, that it's dependable. So
it's been loved.
It has been loved. Gently used heavily. Gently used means heavily loved. So 50 at least.
Wow. Every time you speak, I'm out 10 more checks.
Rev goes, that's how you know it's quality.
Rev, you're my favorite ascending negotiator.
Oh, thank you. That's nice of you to say.
I tell you what, Jonas, let's just brass tacks here. If you manage, please fit. If you manage to fit a grappling hook, a rope, a GPS system, two glow torches, and you have any restorative salves?
In here, maybe. Let's roll. Maybe he has something behind. That the price is right.
If I could get maybe a grade B restorative salve.
You just hear him just go, nope. Nope.
No?
Gonna have to get that from an alchemist.
Interesting. All right. You carry any battle shield?
And he looks at you and he just goes, yes. You start to hear giggling from behind you now as well. As like Jane is just giggling about this whole thing, just going. And she kind of looks at you and just goes.
I just give her like a little get off my lawn, old man type of look, like, oh, shoo, you young person. Okay. $50.
50 checks?
50 checks, sorry.
For 50 checks for all that?
No, I'm thinking this. I'm sorry I
Okay.
didn't say that out loud.
As you're calculating this, Voldo walks in. Voldo, you see, all you see is like a monster wearing a top hat after everything that you heard. And you, in the back of your head, you're thinking, if Danny only knew what might happen.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it cool. Okay, I'm gonna keep it cool. Okay, I'm gonna like just act like everything's normal, and I'm just gonna walk up to Doc and kind of put my hand over his shoulder and be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
You see Voldo.
And
Reb, you see Voldo as well. You're like, where's this guy been? Has it been
any purchases, or
has it been 20 minutes?
I'm just gonna casually look at my watch and be like, "Oh, you took more than 20 minutes. Like, congratulations. Must be a first."
Yeah, and it could have been longer. I heard some things about you on the way, and Danny actually heard some things on the way. So, and by the way, I promised 2 ladies that I am going to have to, and then without saying it, I'm just gonna slap him right across the face. Okay, and then as he kind of like gets back up, I'm gonna other hand just slap him right across the face.
First,
like as hard as I can.
He comes.
I'm like.
I would at least attempt to block the second one, please.
Exactly. So the first one, he's talking to you, just about, but the moment he starts to say, and then Danny heard these things, and you're thinking to yourself, wait, like what? And then he just goes,
after I smack him.
Yeah, 2 other people, and then he smacks you. Now, for the most part, it's a good smack, and I would like you to roll power against him, Voldo.
Okay. Is it D20?
Yes, and I'd like you to roll athletics, if you could, Doc.
Okay, I got a 16 on the first one, and then athletics, I believe I have.
No, it's athletics for the doctor, not for you.
Oh, no, okay.
16 on athletics.
Okay, he slaps you, and it's just kind of like, and you just kind of like right yourself. It's enough to just shock you. Like, what the heck just happened? But as Voldo slaps you, it's the look of a man hurt deep inside by something.
And because of what I've heard.
Of course. It's a man hurt, but also, and you can actually, it's a lover's, yeah, exactly. And you're thinking to yourself, what has happened in 20 minutes to poor Voldo?
And then I'm screaming too. You slapped around an old lady. How could you? And cursing left and right too.
As you're saying that though, Voldo is like, he's just like, you slapped around and you did this and that, and then Danny heard, and he every now and then he brings up and like Danny doesn't like this. And you're so confused by
really confusedly between
Danny.
The two. And Rev's like, didn't Voldo want to like kill an innkeeper earlier? All of a sudden, so.
He's a man of many emotions.
Do you at all bring up the fact that Danny's not talking to you? And just like you're okay.
No.
You control that enough, right?
Yeah. It just subconsciously Danny keeps getting brought up. Like, and Danny heard. And so did he actually block that second slap? Because I owe 2 slaps.
Okay, he tries to slap you again. I will allow you to try to attempt to block with athletics. Go ahead, and it's a double athletics. Athletics versus athletics, please.
Oh, me? Okay.
Yeah, and you and Voldo.
11.
9.
Okay, you slap him twice. and you know what? This one, it's not as clean as the first one, but it's still a good slap. it's still a
There's
good
some
slap.
nails in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This one leaves like a scratch, like back by his ear, because I kind of missed it.
And that one, when you do hit, I want you to roll intellect to see if you can control your emotions a little bit here.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a 9.
Okay, yeah. This one, when you slap him, you say, "That's for Danny."
Okay. And then I'm just going to turn around and walk out. And as I'm walking out, I'm going to say, "And for those 2 ladies."
And Boulder just walks out and then just kind of like sits down on the corner.
I'm just gonna like kind of be like, oh my god, what the just happened here? And I'm gonna look at the other guys and I'm gonna be like, did you just see what happened right here? What the hell is wrong with this kid? Guy?
Jonas just goes, deservingly so.
Rev's just a little dazed. He's like, I've never seen Voldo in a state like this before.
Gideon, you're like just standing there, and at this point, you're just like, what did I do to get shacked up with these guys, dude? Like this is just like a powder keg ready to blow. They're slapping each other at this point now. With that, Doc, would you like to make your purchase after you've been bitch slashed 2 times in front of everyone? And now there's even more. Now St. John's giggling at you.
Oh, well, big deal. I would actually like to use this opportunity to let Jonas know that, I've obviously gotten my punishment for the horrible thing I did to Cam. So I don't think there's a need to gouge me on these prices. I did some
down.
Yeah, you're damn straight.
Good man.
As you can see, as someone who's obviously heard about something, just decided to show me what for. And you know what? As a humble man, I can tell you, I feel like I've been set on the right path. I'll tell you what, $100.
That guy was Jesus who just slapped you.
Roll deception, please.
100,
Roll
100
deception
checks.
with favorable, because it's just so good.
God damn it. 9.
Okay, Riv, you're hearing him say this, and there's part of you that's just going, I don't know.
Because I have a feeling I'm
just...
going to run into this problem wherever the hell I go. It's like a freaking drink is going to cost 50 times as much as it is.
You're hearing this.
I don't know what I'm going to have to do.
Do you want to help him in any way negotiate this? Because you figure that at this point, Doc's a fairly good guy. And he just got slapped twice by Voldo.
Yeah.
He's being giggled at, and he's being shunned by everyone. They actually hate him. Do you want to help him out a little bit? You're in the good graces with this guy.
I am, but I also, Rev is so, anytime he wants to buy something, he feels like if you underpay, that it's like such a horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
Because that's like that's just his code of honor.
Absolutely.
And so he's just looking at the Doc kind of disappointed.
Okay.
He's not gonna help. He's just like,
not gonna help.
Doc, you gotta dig yourself out of this.
Gideon, do you help?
I told the dog, I'm like, don't feel bad. I only had $17. You could do way more.
You could do a lot worse than me.
He's like, at least you're not poor like me.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Sarge. That means a lot.
That's not a very helpful thing to say.
At this point, Boldo, please roll a d20 for me. Just overall well-being. Okay, Doctor, what would you like to do?
16.
16?
I'd like to offer.
You start to shed a little bit of a tear because you're just kind of like, Why isn't she talking to me?
I immediately wipe it away.
I mean, yeah, the moment it drops, you're just like, flick.
Yeah, it's gone.
I just want to say, look, Jonas, let's make a deal. Can I just get the bundle, the pack, blow torches, the GPS, the grappling hook, the rope, 105 checks out the door.
140.
Rev's like, that's a good deal.
He looks at you and he just goes, "It's a fair deal." She goes,
Who says that?
He goes, "Me."
Rev goes, me too.
Well,
And I guarantee if my brothers showed up, they would say it's a good deal. That's right. The Jonas brothers.
well, of course they
How many
would.
brothers does he have?
I have
The
2
Jonas
more.
brothers.
Yeah.
Well, you drive a hard bargain, and I think what I'll do is I tell you what, would you throw in 2 more glow torches and $140, please? I gotta feel like I did something. I just got slapped twice.
And
You saw it.
And
Not just slapped. You got bitch slapped.
yeah,
Yes.
he looks at you and he goes, "You were slapped twice." Yes. By someone that I don't have any idea who he is. He just merely walked in here and slapped you twice.
Screaming the whole
well,
time.
So
About-
I think the only fair deal is I will give you this, but I'm gonna bring over Cam, and she gets to slap you twice.
I've started the whole thing.
And we should probably bring Danny, because he kept saying Danny wouldn't like this, so maybe Danny wants to slap you, and
Danny
I get
definitely wants.
and I get to slap
scream
you
back,
too.
Danny definitely wants to slap.
and I get to slap you too, and Rev gets to slap you.
Rev's like, I don't just slap him.
You do.
You do. You don't know, but you do.
You let me slap you, and I'll give you 140.
If I let
I'll
you
give it to you
slap
for
me?
140. Yes.
All right. Well, I will take my chances elsewhere, sir. Thank you so much. I can tell you that I don't know Boldo extremely well, but I do know it when a man is doing something for largely other reasons than what he so eloquently explained during his rant. That was textbook. I don't know how to say it, but doing something crazy to appease something else inside of him. So
And he looks at you
I
and he just goes,
appreciate your time, but I'm
"Wait."
not gonna continue to pay for something that I honestly was not trying to do in any malicious fashion.
Understood.
So by all means, maintain your business and good day. I'm just gonna walk out and basically go up to Baldo and say, "What in the holy hell is wrong with you?"
And then
I don't feel violent. I don't feel like I want to
No.
fight him, because I totally felt like this is weird. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
you may have heard something, but there's something way more to this.
In
And besides, it didn't
in-
even fucking hurt.
Not really. It just kind of, it's like a little shock, like, whoa, like what the heck? He's sitting there and he's kind of hunched over a little bit. The 2 girls come back down the street, Voldo, as the doctor is asking you this, and they look at you and they just go,
and I just give him a thumbs up, like, yeah, I got it. I got him.
The doc sees this as well, and he kind of goes,
My suspicions have been confirmed.
I'm just gonna
Partially.
turn back. I'm just gonna ask back to him. I'm gonna be like, first of all, what the hell is wrong with you? By the time I got here, I heard you had murdered an old lady and stole $5,000 worth of jolting juice.
Oh, dear Jesus. I can only imagine what you heard, Baldo. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and tell you that, no, I didn't murder an old lady. But
Why do you have so much fucking jolting juice?
yeah, apparently I swindled her out of some jolting juice because I'm too stupid to realize the value of it. And it didn't end well. So
I'm gonna be like, oh, so you just were too stupid and accidentally underpaid by 4,500.
Guilty, sir. Guilty.
Okay, you know what? That's kind of believable. So, and then
Well,
I'm just gonna ask him too. So, since you have so many jolting juices,
well, hey, I gotta say that based on the message we got earlier, feels like you might need a little recharge.
oh, I'm charged, bro. I'm charged.
I won't try and insinuate anything, but I pick it up what you're laying down. I'll toss you one because at this point I feel like they're all free or half of them at least.
At least half of them.
Yeah.
Essentially,
I was originally going to charge
$9.
Rev for some, and when I found out, I mean, you even heard like, oh yeah, well I'm going to definitely charge a friend of mine, thinking like I'm splitting them with him or something.
As you guys are having this interesting conversation, go ahead, Rev.
Well, when the doc walked out without buying anything, like kind of dejected, Rev
Sure.
finally starts to feel a little sorry for the guy.
Okay.
So Rev turns to the shopkeep, he's buddy with, like, all right,
Sure.
all right, I'm gonna buy his pack of stuff. You said 140, I'll give you 150. Give me the pack, and I'll take it.
He looks at you and he just kind of grabs it and he just goes, "You come back any time here, Rev. You are always welcome." And he gives you everything.
It's like, you sir, you know how to deal.
And he
Rev
actually,
turns-
before he takes it, he pulls it back for a quick second. He just goes, "Listen, for 10 more checks, I can have it embroidered with his name on it."
Rev's like, I don't know that he deserves that.
And he looks at you and he just goes, "Good point, fair enough." And kind of hands it over to you.
Shake his hand. I walk out, and as I walk out, I kind of like put it into the doc's chest.
Ooh.
Like here's your stuff, doc. You really
What
got to
the-
learn how to talk to people.
It's like
What
giving
the
it to
heck?
it's like giving it to a guy on the street and he goes, "Here's your tuna.
Yeah.
Here's your tuna sandwich from Subway."
And after Rev does it, he goes, "Because you did kind of get me a couple jolty juice like I asked. So there you go."
Wow, man! Seriously, I mean, this is great. Thank you very much. And you know what? I guess apparently I do have to learn how to talk to people. But, I felt like there was nothing but love coming out of me.
So everything that you asked for, 2 glow sticks, your rope is back, your grappling hook is back. You get 2 lesser solves. The D's, I think, are it? D's or C's? I don't remember which it is.
I asked for the B.
But he said there
yeah.
isn't any because you have to go to an alchemist.
Oh, okay.
So you get the
Then, yeah,
lowest
I guess
one,
it would.
whatever the lowest
I
one
guess
is.
it would be C or D.
Okay, so you get 2 C. You get 2 C's. I'll give to you, and you get the pack, which is kind of a faded gray.
Well, I also asked for a GPS and a grappling hook.
Yeah, I gave you the grappling hook. There's no.
Oh,
There
okay.
was. You can have the GPS as well.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. As you guys are having this conversation, Rev's
Thanks again,
feeling
Rev.
Rev's feeling a little bit better about it. Alistair walks up to you and just goes, "I've worked out lodging for you."
Oh, that's super. That's very nice of you, Alistair. I'm pretty beat myself, I know.
Understood. And he looks at Voldo and he just goes, "And you're pretty worn out as well, aren't you?" I just had a
Whoa.
interesting conversation with Danny.
Jeez, rumors do fly in this town.
Rev is completely clueless. Like, I wonder what's going on.
And I'm just gonna ask, like, yeah. So what exactly? How's she doing about everything these days? She hear about the slapping?
She heard there was a slapping, yes.
Okay.
I have to say she didn't seem to feel one way or another about it.
Okay.
But she did tell me that come by tomorrow morning and she should have your orders ready for her.
All right. Sounds good.
And she kind of leans into you, Voldo, and she just goes, "You can come by and see her later on tonight." And
I'm just gonna
he
whisper.
kind of like puts his elbow into your chest and just goes, "That slapping did a. I did that once with my wife, and we got married."
I'm gonna say you should try it again. It's still pretty fun.
Excellent. As she like he kind of like goes in and he just goes, down at the corner there is our largest establishment. This is my home. And he goes, there are more than enough rooms there for you all each to be able to sit down and take good rest for the morrow. And just for you to know, there will be dinner provided for you as well. And there'd probably be more earthquakes as well during the evening, as you probably have now found out.
You're a good man, Alistair. Thank you.
Absolutely. By the way, have you heard that there was a man who walked and murdered a woman? I find this truly hard to believe, as no one has yet been dead or been told that they've died suddenly. But it was a man with a top hat. I can only imagine that man must be, Jonas's brother Nick. Well, gentlemen,
I always thought it was more like a fedora, but
they don't know. Everything looks like a top hat to them. They don't know what a fedora is.
A hat is on the top of the head, so it's a
top hat. Yeah.
Same thing.
With that, he looks at Gideon. He goes, "You can definitely go ahead and show them the way. You've been there before. I have other things to take care of. Make sure that you go by Danny's and to make sure that the harpoons are up to your standards and to your likings in order to take down these rockworms. I bid you
I'm just
good
right
luck."
there. I'm gonna say I might. I think I'll go to take a look at the harpoons right now. Actually,
He looks at you and he just goes, puts a hand on your shoulder. He just goes, "Be gentle. She's had her heart. Someone swindled her before. If you know what
Thank you for the information.
Understood."
And then as I walk away, I'm gonna turn back to them and I'm just gonna ask them, "Can one of you guys book me a room?"
I'm gonna leave for 20 minutes again. You hear Jaina in the back just going, "Someone's in love."
Just in case she kicks me out again.
With that, Gideon, you kind of like show him the way to obviously his home. His home is further down to the south, overlooking. It's at the end of the main street of the town, overlooking the cliff itself. It's quite nice and serene. You've had many times just sitting there drinking on the stoop. It's just a very, very nice kind of place.
Nice.
Do you gentlemen go there?
Yeah, I definitely follow him to the home. I would actually. Rev is still fiddling with this helmet.
Sure.
He wants to find like a quiet place or like his room, and what he would like to do is actually try to use the pod that Jaina was in. He wants to actually try to take the power source and what's the AI's name that was in there?
Maybell?
Maybell. He wants to actually see if he can use the power source and Maybell and install it into this helmet that's supposed to have like GPS and.
So
and
you want Maybell to be your Jarvis from Iron Man?
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
But this is actually for Jaina. So I actually want it to be so that Jaina has. I don't know if she's got a sidekick.
She doesn't.
Almost like her.
Yeah.
It's almost like I want this helmet to be her sidekick with Maybell.
Okay. The whole time that you're like telling this, Jaina is completely against the idea. She just goes, "I don't like things on my hair, Rev."
It's like
Otis would do this all the time. Always touching my head. I don't like it. I work really hard on my hair.
Rev's like, have you ever had infrared vision before? Have you ever tried that?
She goes, "Yes."
Did you like it?
I don't remember.
Rev's like, let me just put this together. You're going to try it?
She goes, fine. I'm going to go sit on the porch with Sinjin.
Okay. You kids have a good time. And he just goes off and starts working on this thing with his tools.
With that, Gideon, you're a little bit jealous that the fact that is that Sinjin's not hanging around you. He's your first in command, and he should be underneath you, and he's just off sitting with Jaina. This girl that up to a day ago wasn't even awake.
Gideon walks over and he goes, Sinjin, what's going on?
He just goes, nothing, boss. Just making sure that she's safe and protected. We both agreed that she must be important, remember? You said it yourself.
Ah, yes. Well, you are a guardian.
And he just goes, absolutely, boss. This is what I was born to do. And Jaina giggles.
And I whisper to her and I say, he's a good man.
And she looks at you and she goes, I know. Thank you. Doc, what do you do? Rev disappears into a quiet nook of wherever Rev decides to go.
That's right.
Voldo's making his triumphant way back over to Danny's. But where does the doc?
I'm just like adjusting my straps and stuff like that, making sure my like cloak is perfectly hung.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Doc? Though.
I still want to try and get a couple of supplies at the apparently wherever I can get weapon type stuff.
What exactly are you trying to get?
I want to look at some black steel darts and an EMP ring.
For the most part, I can tell you that stuff is not. Yeah, it's none of that stuff is here.
All right, what about a bowmaster, a helicon bowmaster?
Any of those things, you're gonna have to go to big cities.
Okay. Battle shield too.
Yeah, for stuff like that, you're gonna go. Brimlow's just too small of a fishing town. But in big cities, you can definitely be able to find that kind of stuff. That's high-end stuff.
I got my little stuff. So.
Okay, gentlemen, for the evening, or what would be perceived to be the evening, as this is perpetual sunlight, is there anything you guys want to do? Voldo, you get back to Danny, you and Danny. She's working and talking.
Mm-hmm.
She seems a little bit more receptive to you, to the fact that you are the slapper vigilante.
Okay.
You know, and she kind of like, as she works, she starts to kind of like soften up again to you.
Okay.
She's heard things. She's heard some
well,
stories.
By this time, she basically heard that he took me out back and took me behind the woodshed and.
No, what she heard from you, from the stories, is that guy is dead. And cut up into small little pieces and ceases to exist and thrown off the cliff. Yes, and thrown off the cliff. Like, this guy is just gone.
Dude, when I go shopping, I'm gonna be getting so many discounts.
Of course, none of this has gotten back to you.
I'm gonna be like the teenager outside a liquor store getting Valdo to buy me shit.
Here's $5, man. Can you get me like a Miller Lite?
Yeah.
Do you want to do?
I'll be like, not once but twice.
Is there anything you want to do for the evening, Doc?
You know
daybreak?
What? I kind of I think I want to, now that I know where we're posting up or whatever, I'm gonna take the long way and just kind of soak in the town a little bit.
Sure.
Gather my thoughts.
Now that essentially this guy is dead.
Yeah.
Those looks aren't as necessarily as hard on you. For some reason, it's the same dude that they saw just a couple hours ago. But word is that guy's dead, so it can't be you.
Yeah, they heard that revenge was carried out. So.
Yes, it was swift, and
by
justice was
a
served.
man in a red cloak.
Yes.
Yeah.
A man in a red cloak, and in love.
By a man in a red cloak and nothing else.
Okay, with that, you kind of like walk the streets again. It's the same feeling that like Rev had. It's relatively just very peaceful. Life continues to keep moving. Another earthquake shift happens a couple hours later. So you kind of it's kind of really kind of hard to gauge like time frame. Sometimes it's like one, every hour. Sometimes it's a little more spread out. But you get a sense that obviously when they're getting closer and closer because they start to become more and more concentrated and violent. But people here seem to just continue to keep moving. The place that they've built this town on, and you can see down onto the port where there's a few boats down there, that it's just a very nice, peaceful. If you could build a nice little town and a nice little sleepy city that is completely protected by this mirage tech, that this might be the perfect place for it to be. Other than the slapping that you've had and the bad negotiations that you've dealt with, there's a little bit of a quietness in your spirit, Doc, that kind of rejuvenates you a little bit. Especially over the past few days, the things have been relatively hectic and rough. Rev, you feel the same way, but you're kind of like focused on what you're doing as of right now. Gideon, you always kind of just like sit and find a little rocker and just kind of look out into the northern part of the Oceans of Soul and just kind of see the Tavo and Kaio, the moons, just sit on the horizons there. Voldo, you find warmth again in the bed and in the arms of Danny. Of course, after 2 times, she does get back up and she goes back to her work. It's kind of, at this point you get the feeling that that's just who she is.
Yeah.
It's maybe it's not anything that is bad or she's angry. It's just the nature of whatever makes her tick. As the night ends and the day breaks.
So I'm just gonna sleep at her house. She just lets
Oh
me
yeah,
crash.
you
Okay, cool.
you sleep there and you wake up to her.
Okay.
As well.
Cool, I like that. I'm gonna give her a kiss in the morning. Yeah, I'm gonna seduce this girl.
Oh, she accepts it and then gets up and goes back to work.
Of course.
My
working girl.
Yep. With that, the day breaks. You guys do take rest. So whatever energy, exhaustion you've lost, any vitality you've lost, go ahead and bring it back up to
beautiful
to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You get a message from Danny to each one of you to come by her shop. She has some things waiting that you requested. Gideon, do you want to go as well?
Yes.
You might be the only other person who knows where Danny's place is other than Voldo at this point. Again, not a very hard place to find. It's only kind of like a one street town. But Gideon takes you over to Danny's, where she opens up the door and you see Danny there in her covered overalls, and in the back, standing in the doorframe, is Voldo in his skivvies.
In my what?
In your skivvies.
In my skivvies, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doc.
So just like the bottom leathers.
Yep. As you see this, Doc, it immediately your thoughts were correct. You have put 2 and 2 together. Voldo is a man in love.
I both envy him and feel sorry for him at the same time.
I mean, we're gonna have to move on at some point. We are in a war.
as you come in, yeah, Kara says, "Aw, Voldo's got a girlfriend."
Yes.
As she lets you guys in, she closes the door behind you. She's not officially open for business. She looks back to Voldo and she just goes, "Maybe you should put yourself together so we can talk."
Absolutely. Obviously, I'm putting my stuff down right now.
Okay. As she does that, she walks up to Rev and she goes, "I have something for you. I hope it'll fit your needs and your purpose." And it's wrapped up. It's wrapped up in some kind of like very nice, like red crimson wrapping. And it's cloth. It's very nice. She kind of hands it back to you. And it's Callisto's Edge. And what you have now is, you're gonna have to write this somewhere.
Yeah.
You have a new ability to Callisto's Edge called Shock to the System.
Cool.
Nice.
Every attack now shocks the enemy with a chance of stunning them.
Nice.
You roll a d12. If you roll an even, you stun. If you roll odd, you do not. So it's 50-50.
So roll a d12. Even as a stun?
Even as a stun, odd is it doesn't stun.
Odd
If you happen to roll a 12, they are stunned and fall prone.
Nice. Enemy stunned and fall.
As Voldo pulls himself together, wrapped up in crimson cloth is your scythe. She just goes, "Here's sword."
Thank you so much for everything. I take a look. I take it, obviously.
So now your new ability is, on your scythe only, is life displacement. Okay, so twice per fight, you can attempt to steal some max VP and add it to you or to an ally temporarily.
You said twice per turn?
Twice per fight.
Oh, per fight. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, per fight. And I would be essentially like trying to suck it from the enemies.
Right, and creating max. You're giving yourself temporary hit points.
Okay, gotcha. So it's just okay. So I can suck vitality from people
and give it to yourself temporarily, or give it to an ally temporarily.
Okay, and temporarily is how many? How many?
After the duration of the fight, it's gone. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so it's a d12. So you roll a d12. If you roll an odd number, you steal.
Okay.
So it's the opposite of Revs. Revs is if you roll even, he does it. You roll odd, you do you steal, and you can displace 15 VP as of right now.
Okay.
Rev says to Danny, "This is immaculate. Thank you. You are a true master of your craft."
She goes, "If you end up finding other pieces, bring them back to me, and I can upgrade it even more."
Oh,
Rev's just kind of swinging his.
Thank you very much. I had already shown her the little sword that I have, my actual little sword. I haven't showed her that yet.
Yeah, the D4 sword.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You showed her.
One that makes people go crazy.
What? The one that makes people go crazy?
Yeah. The Blade of Endless Night.
You never showed her that.
Okay.
Because
so I'm gonna be like,
you could, but you know what would happen if you do.
You showed her your other little sword.
If I grab it with cloth or something like that,
no, that doesn't stop anything. Once that you wield it, you are infused with that dark power, no matter what it is. You can't stop it.
So I'm holding it though, like it's somewhere on me. Okay. So I have no way of moving it off of me.
What are we talking about? The Blade of Endless Night is in it's like another dimension.
Yeah.
That's what
That's what we
every
have to
time that you reach
open
it, you open up
there.
another dimension to pull it out. It does
Okay,
not
then not
exist
the
in this
Blade of
dimension.
Endless Night.
Yeah,
What's
you're
that one I just got?
just your regular scythe. That's just your normal weapon that you use.
Okay, then
as
yeah, the Blade of Endless Night. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay,
So I can't pull it out of. I can't show it to her.
you can show it to her, but then you're going to be infused with darkness and become bloodthirsty, and you have to kill.
Okay, so there's no way I can take it out of my void
without being
bloodthirsty.
corrupted by that power.
Yeah.
Until you
okay.
figure out how to
You
protect
basically need to
yourself against that.
You train your
Yeah.
mind. That's
Yeah.
kind of what Alistair was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So,
definitely need to train your spirit to be able to protect it, because it's corruptive no matter what.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna be like, in that, I do actually have another sword.
And she goes, "I've seen it. It's
I
quite
know.
it's
Thank
quite
you for,
wonderful.
great that, by the way.
Four
Thank you.
times. 4 times.
I tried my best, but I actually do have another sword. I wasn't talking not the one you're familiar with.
Okay.
It has a problem where as soon as I take it out of storage, it immediately infuses me with bloodlust or whatever, and it just basically I can't show it to you because it makes me a bloodthirsty monster.
She goes, "I've heard of such things." She goes, "Maybe you should talk to Alistair."
Alistair, all right. Thank you so much for that information.
He's an
As soon as
oracle.
I
He
get it-
knows of things like this.
All right, perfect. Okay, so as soon as I get this under control, I will be coming back with another sword for you.
And she goes,
Well,
"Continue,
2 swords for you.
keep bringing those swords."
Yeah, anytime you want.
With that, she
Shit. Wait. I was gonna say. Also, do you have a titanium bow staff?
and she goes, "If you bring me titanium, I can make you one.
Okay.
I'm a craftsman. I'm not a retailer."
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you for everything.
And with that, she just goes into rev into the doctrine for Gideon. She just goes, "I have 2 harpoons here," and she goes, "and I finished making the 3rd. So here's 3 harpoons. Hopefully, they'll be able to help you win whatever creates these tremors and such. I don't really know if it's a rock worm, and if it is, I don't ever want to see one. But if it is, I guarantee that these will fire true."
We trust your craftsmanship. I have seen how you work
She
in a
goes,
few different ways.
She goes, "Oh, thanks." And she goes, "Is there anything else that I can help you with, gentlemen? Doctor?
I believe that's it for me.
Gideon?"
That's it for me.
And she goes, "Gentlemen, I wish you luck. Take good care of Valdo."
Thanks.
Rev just looks. I wonder why she said that.
So as they're walking out, I'm gonna hang back for just a quick second, and I'm gonna walk up to her, and I'm
Okay.
just gonna give her a kiss,
Oh, okay.
and then I'm gonna say, I promise I'll be back.
She goes, "I'll promise, oh, baby." What was that? Oh, what'd you say?
I promise I will be back.
Oh, okay. Sure. She smiles and she takes it and she gives you a hug.
There we go. Okay, I hug her back. Perfect. All right.
As you guys are walking out the door, there is Alistair standing there in the middle of a relatively empty street. Obviously, the town itself hasn't started to get going. And he goes, "Gentlemen, I would like a moment with each one of you before." And that's where we'll end our session here tonight and pick up next week when each one of you will speak to Alistair about something very important. Alistair the Oracle, who has a saying for each one of you.
Awesome.
With that, I want to thank everyone who hung out with us this evening. Thank you so much for Kara for coming on by, as well as anyone else who dropped by.
you.
I want to thank this wonderful cast. I didn't think it was going to have this much sexy time as it was, but
I haven't even gone shopping yet.
don't worry.
I think you did.
Next
I think
week,
you did plenty,
I still
Voldo. You
have
did
to.
plenty.
Voldo is done plenty, and Rev and the Doc have done all the shopping that you ever will need.
I haven't upgraded my armor since I started this game.
Again, thank you so much for everyone going out with us. If you want to get caught up in any of the other episodes, just hit the link below with the YouTube. I do go ahead and post every week. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much if you do end up watching those as well. Yeah, absolutely, Kira. You can definitely go into the YouTube and find out what's to find out what the slapping was going on. Yes,
The YouTube.
there was a lot of slapping. It was spicy. It was spicy.
It was a good storyline. You should
Absolutely.
definitely watch it.
There was there was 4 times of spice. At least 4 times. There was wobbly legs.
If you've ever seen Young and the Restless, you
Yes.
And there's a handsome hero who defeats that guy.
Absolutely. Good night, Kara. Have a good one. You sleep safe as well. To my wonderful cast here, as always, Ryan, aka Ran18. One thing, thank you so much, good sir.
My pleasure. A lot of fun. I was not expecting to laugh that much.
We had a good time laughing.
Yeah.
There was some crazy thing. I will watch this back with Voldo and the Doctor. Just the the cam thing, which is hilarious. I really didn't think he was gonna push Matilda on me the way he was doing that. I was just like, he's gonna accept Matilda. And he's just like, hey, you know what? Maybe Matilda's not that hot. Whatever the case may be, it was pretty hilarious. Thank you so much, Mike, here for an amazing session here.
Hell yeah! Thank you for throwing that opportunity. Yeah.
Again,
Thank you.
Listen
You
to
made
everyone
this
who's
great.
out there. I am a dedicated GM. I will go down that road,
Yeah.
and I will.
You did your part perfectly.
Yeah, I will go down that road. I will not like myself in the morning, but I will do it.
I weirdly like you a little more now. I don't know why, but
Danny's not going to like herself in the morning either.
no, she's already woken up. She's already fine.
Of course, another one of my wonderful friends here, Richard, aka Golden Hammer, Gideon Golden Hammer. Forgive me. Thank you so much, Richard, for this great evening.
Oh, you're welcome. You had a great time.
That was awesome. Mr. 17 checks is going to be what he's going to know for. Mr. Broke
the streets.
He escaped the streets.
The generosity of the Doc and Rev.
Absolutely. And of course, as you always know, to end it all, my brother from another mother, aka Shane, who made it just hilarious. Thank you so much, Shane.
I was off my game even. I'll try and make it more interesting next time. I thought I was going somewhere with that, and as I'm saying, I'm like, oh god, this sounds horrible.
Thank you, Doc. I really appreciate what you have done today.
Voldo, you made Voldo like a legend without even doing anything.
Voldo is now the hero of the town.
He's absolutely the hero of the
They're
town.
working on a statue.
Oh, hell yeah.
And to every one of you who's out there, thank you so much for being a part of this. You make it worth doing. Again, if you want to continue to keep checking out these streams, they happen every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. on this channel. Mr. Shogi 3000, thank you so much. Go ahead and check out another amazing streamer, Mr. Ryan, aka twitch.tv/ran118. He streams all his awesome games, and he's an amazing streamer. And as well as just being an amazing friend. So thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next week. And until next time, as always, stay corona-free and keep it safe on the ways, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Peace out.
Don't be stupid. Wash your hands.